I just came by and said it's Sunday, nobody's here, so I said I'll come by. So I knew Keith and his family would be here. Anyway, so then he just said, oh, there's people in the room. I said, oh, there's people here? We usually used to a bigger, more filled room, but this is intimate enough. So, how you doing?
Great.
Good. Usually there's someone to talk and like walk me through this, but I really don't need that. They're just getting my way anyway. I was completely not ready to do this. I actually not ready to do this at all. I actually came in. Got a gift for you, Keith.
Oh.
I have officially met my #1 fan. Many people have told me they're my #1 fan, and many people have showed me that they're big fans all over the world, and I love. Can you move over a little bit? I don't want you to be left out. This is my friend from Argentina. He's cool. Met him and his son down in Argentina. But and I have great fans. But I've officially given a lot of thought to this, and after having met Keith and Alex and Bear, known as Sarah, and Christina, the whole family, the Winans. Yes, even got their last name memorized now. And hearing like the depth of their commitment to his particularly, to D. Snider, I've decided, I dubbed the, you don't have to rise, just say, I dubbed the #1 D. Snider fan. You hear me okay, right? Move closer, I don't want to sit on a microphone. It's stupid. It's stupid. Dude, you back there, move up. Come on, everybody move up. Come on, please. Everybody, come on. You can leave already. I don't care. I wasn't expecting to do it. I didn't think there was going to be anybody here, so I just came walking in here. So
this room will be full by the time you're done.
Will be what?
This room will be full by the time you're done.
Full? Well, then you can throw me a microphone if I need it. Well, they should have got here early then. I'm not exactly sure what they're missing out on. So these conventions usually, you know, I go there and while they're horror conventions, people, I do so many different things. People come into to meet me for a variety of reasons. There's Twisted, there's Strangeland. There's people who know I've been doing a radio show called The House of Hair for 21 years. It's on over like 220 stations all over the world. So I mean, some people come in and it's that, or the Celebrity Apprentice, or reality TV. I did way too much reality TV. I stopped doing reality TV. I stopped officially when a guy came up to me on the street and he said, "Dude, oh man, I saw you on TV. I saw you on Celebrity." I said, "What, Apprentice?" I said, "No." I said, "Wife Swap?" I said, "No." I said, "Ghost Story?" I said, "No." I said, "Duets?" I said, "No." I said, "Holy shit. I've done like every reality show with the word celebrity in it." Or turned down. The ones I've turned down, Celebrity High Diving. That was a summer one. I said, even though I look good in a Speedo, I am not wearing a Speedo. And I can barely fucking swim. So I'm not doing Celebrity High Diving. And Dancing with the Stars, I turned that down. Because to quote Bobby Brown, yes, my prerogative, Bobby Brown, who was my roommate on a reality show for a week and nearly peed on me in the middle of the night. That's a story. To quote him, I dance like a spider, which I do. So I said, I'm not going to go on Dancing with the Stars. But anyway, so I said, I'm running through Celebrity Day, and I go, what fucking show did you see me? He said, it was Celebrity Home for the Holidays. I said, oh, fuck. I've done way too many fucking reality shows. Celebrity Home for the fucking Holidays? Seriously? I'm talking to myself now, but seriously, dude? Is there anything, have you no pride at all? Is there anything you all do? So that was that moment, I said, all right, no more. Well, that, and actually, I was being roasted a couple of years ago, and Zach Wilde got up, and Zach's not only an amazing guitar player, but a funny fucking guy. And so he gets up to roast me. He goes, "Dean, you're surrounded by friends and family, people who love you." He says, "This isn't a roast, it's an intervention. You gotta stop doing reality TV." And I'm sitting there going, he's fucking right. I'm like fucking doing so many shows, so I stopped that. Yeah, move closely. I've decided no microphone. I didn't think anybody'd be here. Somebody said more and more people are coming in. I will, if you start not being able to hear me, please just tell me to get on the mic, and if you want to slip away, I'll pretend I didn't notice. So anyway, so how did I get to the reality TV? Oh, okay, so I'll tell you a Bobby Brown story, because it's pretty fucking funny anyway. So one of the first reality shows I did was, hi girls, was called Gone Country. And Gone Country is on CMT. Anybody see that? You did? All right. Number one fan. Just go number one fans. So Gone Country was on CMT, and the idea was to bring in singers who weren't country artists and to lock them in a house. You saw it? Okay. Yeah. And put us in a house together, Big Brother style, for I think it was 2 weeks, at least a week, maybe two. And we lived together and we learned to be country stars. So it was me, Bobby Brown, Diana DeGarmo, who was like third runner-up on American Idol one year, Julio Iglesias Jr., Cisco, Maureen McCormick, yes, Marsha. Nobody knew why she was there because she doesn't sing. Well, she does sing, but she's not a singer. But please move up close so I don't turn on a microphone. And if you want to leave, you can leave. Don't worry, I won't make fun of you, which I am known to do. So who else was there? It was Diana. And oh God, from Wilson Phillips, Carney Wilson. Okay, so and they move us into a 40,000 square foot log cabin mansion, the biggest. Move close. I don't want to use the microphone, so move closer. The biggest log cabin in the fucking world. It was built for Barbara Mantrell, and it was made of logs, but it was 40,000 square feet. I mean, it was the most luxurious log cabin you saw. It had everything in there possible, including its own shooting range. Barbara apparently liked to shoot.
Except for coffee.
She's country. So anyway, so Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston's late Whitney Houston's Bobby Brown, Mr. My Prerogative, was my roommate. And so for a week, 2 weeks, we roomed together. And so I remember, like they said, okay, when we came in, they gave us the rundown. And this was total Big Brother style. The show was called Gone Country. So they took our phones, no anything. The phones were tapped. So if we called home, it was recorded. Cameras were everywhere in the house. And they told us, you said, but no cameras in the bathrooms, and when at night, when the lights go out, you're off camera. Now Cisco was actually a pretty good guy. Cisco kept saying, dude, I'm telling you, they got fucking infrared in here. I promise you they got infrared. I said, they told us, like I'm a trusting guy. They told us, when the lights go out, and we, want to just jerking off or what? As I'm saying, and don't say, I know the age group here. She has no idea what that means. And if she does, bad parenting. Bad parenting. Okay, hashtag bad parenting. So Bobby and me are roommates. So Bobby is actually a cool guy. He's actually just kind of a man-child. We've started a boy band, and he's kind of been insulated and raised like it's kind of like a Kobe beef or something, where his limbs never touch the ground. And but at his heart, he's a pretty good guy. But he definitely drinks too much, and he's a night guy, and he sleepwalks. So I'm in the first night in the bedroom, and I'm sleeping, and I'm sleeping, and all of a sudden I hear some rustling. Not rustling. Somebody bumped into something in the room. And in the dark, I open my eyes to see Bobby Brown, or me, I'm Bobby, and in his boxers, walking to my bed and reaching into pull his junk out. And so, of course, I didn't think for a second he wanted to rape me. I said, oh, fuck. He's looking for the bathroom. He's sleepwalking, and I must be where his bathroom in his house is, because any good drunk is on autopilot, so he's autopiloted to the toilet, and I'm the toilet. So I'm like, no, Bobby, no, and he's out of it. He's sleeping, he's sleepwalking. No, Bobby, no, over there. So Bobby sort of like shifts directions, and now starts walking to the closet where all of our clothes and everything are in suitcases. And he's going in the closet. I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna hose down our clothes. No, Bobby, no. I'm running around and get Bobby out. Bobby, no, over there. Eventually I hear the sound of water hitting porcelain. It may have been tile, I don't know. But I was just glad it was something out of my range, that not my clothes and not me. So sure enough, when the show airs, infrared cameras. It's infrared cameras. You see Bobby and me in the dark. Oh no! Wait a minute, Bobby walking around. And then Bobby. So the whatever. The end of that story is that Bobby, because he's a night guy, and he would and they would make us get up early in the morning every day to do. We had to muck stalls, we had to shoot skeet, we had to ride quads, we were going country. We had to work do a charity thing, a car wash, And Bobby was just like a night guy, so he'd be sleeping. The one person that he would get up for was Marsha Brady. But who wouldn't get up for Marsha Brady? Marsha, I don't mean anything by that. So she would come in before me, go, Bobby. She'd come in, first of all, and she stepped in his piss. So Marsha. That was it. I don't think they show that on TV show. They came running out. So where was that? Oh, I was just somehow going to talk about reality TV and whatever. So people come to these things for a variety of reasons, and that's why if you go to my table, there's an insane amount of pictures on the table and things on the table, because I've done so many different things, and every time I do one of these things, someone goes, "You got a Pee Wee Herman picture?" No, I don't, guys. Let's get a Pee Wee Herman picture. So there's a Pee Wee picture, and then I did Sharknado. So now there's a picture of me as a sheriff in Sharknado. That was not a proud moment, okay? But I mean, Sharknado. My first experience with Sharknado was at a HorrorCon, and I was set up next to Anthony, the director. After Sharknado 1 was a success, he had a booth at a HorrorCon, and he was sitting next to me. And at some point, he turned and he goes, "Hey, D," and I know exactly what he's gonna fuck. And I just turned and go, "No." And he said, "What?" I said, "No." He goes, "But I didn't." I said, "I know what you're gonna ask." "No." Got to Sharknado 27 or whatever. And there I was in fucking Romania walking onto the set going, "All right, dude, you win, I'm fucking here." So, but now I got a Sharknado picture, and an Apprentice picture, and all those things. So I do a ton of things, and people are interested in me for a variety of things. Now, I mean, usually I'm happiest, quite honestly, at a HorrorCon when people are interested in Strangeland, because Thank you. Because, that was, well, thank you. Okay, so and I'm happy to talk about Strangeland, although it is like, in many ways, the one that got away. And Strangeland was a vision for a future for horror. And I got to give credit to Tom Savini, my dear friend Tom Savini, because I had another version of Strangeland, which was pretty much, not pretty much, it was a slasher film. It was a straight up, Captain Howdy was a slasher, and it was straight up. And Tom, in the movie business, everybody kisses your ass, and everybody blows smoke, and everybody's your best fucking friend. Okay, and I sent that script out. I shopped the original Strangeland script. It was actually called Helltown at that time, and to a lot of places, and whether oh yeah, we love it, no call back, or it was never. No one said to me what Tom said to me, and Tom, who was a good friend, said. I called him, I said, "What do you think, dude?" I'm thinking, like, I'm gonna star in it, I wrote it, you can fucking do special effects, and we'll get blah, blah, blah. And he goes, "D, it sucks." Literally said those words to me. And I was, "What?" He goes, it sucks. It's terrible. I was crushed. And he goes, come visit me and we'll sit down and I'll tell you why. He says, let's hang out and I'll tell you why. And, you know, like I said, no one ever wants to tell you the truth, and I respected Tom so much that I literally flew to, I didn't fly, I actually took a train of all fucking things to Pittsburgh from Long Island, which was like a long fucking train trip. I don't know why I had the idea that I was going to see the world in a train. So, and Tom Savini was born, raised, you all know who Tom Savini is, special effects extraordinaire, and actor, of course. In that he born, raised, lived, and will die in the house that he was born in. And it's this little nothing house, but Tom has continued to build it up and out. So it's now like 7 stories tall, and it goes, and it takes up a city block now. I mean, he just, oh, this is where I grew up. I'm like, what? You know, but he just keeps adding on to it. He loves Pittsburgh. This is where he lives. This is where his job is. He's got his school there. He had his special effects makeup shop there. You want Tom Savini, you go there. I'll tell you a little side story. Of course, Tom told me, you know, when we sat down, he said, look, you've written a typical slasher movie. There's nothing new and exciting about this. It's all been done before. He just got a different character, and he didn't have the tattoos or anything. He was just, I don't want to get into what he was originally, because that's another fucking story, how Stephen King ripped me fucking off for the movie It, for the book It. It's true, I can prove it. I don't hold anything against Stephen. We were hanging out, I told him my idea for Captain Howdy, and he said, that's a good idea. And it was a clown. And and then, like, and I'm a Stephen King diehard, and I get the book, and I'm, you know, oh, yeah, new book, yeah, reading, what, fuck? Pennywise is a fucking clown? I said, my idea is Captain Howdy's this clown who lures kids in and uses kids' attraction to clowns, and then he kills them. He goes, that, you know what, he says, clowns are fucking like that, that's really cool. And I go to the fucking front page, and yeah, it was written after me and Tom, me and Stephen hung out together in fucking Bangor, and I told him, you know, but I mean, and then I was shopping Helltown with my clown, everybody's going, it's kind of it-ish. I'm like, yeah, you think? But again, I hold against Stephen, we kind of, you know, we're computers. You input information, we hear things, we pick up things, and then we spew it back out in hopefully an original fashion. You know, and it happens all the time, and it's unintentional. I just did it to my son. My son is a filmmaker. He's got his first major picture. Take care, people. He's got his first major movie coming out with Warner Brothers. He got a 3-picture deal. It's called Fool's Day. Margot Robbie's been attached. I mean, it's a big film that he co-wrote with one of my other sons, and he's directing. And he's got a new movie he's working on, and I'm one of the first readers for my kids, and they're one of my first readers. And I wrote a new scary movie, and I sent it to him to read. He goes, Dad, you stole my fucking movie. And I was like, what? He goes, this is my fucking story. I go, I said, no, it's not. I'm doing this, and you're doing that. He goes, it's the same story. You just like mine's in this world and this is that world, but it's the same story. And fuck yeah, I stole the story. and I said, holy shit, you know, and I had already forgiven Stephen for it. I know it's just, that's the way we absorb shit. And unfortunately, I didn't remember like his story basically. I'd read it so long ago, but it had somehow planted itself in there and I regurgitated it. So anyway, which is how you do horror movies. Oh, this is good. Anyway, so Tom told me why it sucked. Not it sucked, but my script sucked, and that, you know, it was just, and I'll get to that. So a little side story with Tom Savini in Pittsburgh. So after hanging out with Tom Savini at his place of birth, his home, and talking all night, he goes, hey man, I gotta get something from the shop. It's like 4 in the morning. I gotta get something from the shop. So can you guys all hear me all right? Because I'll switch to the microphone, but I'm pretty loud. I let me talk. So I said, it's 4 in the morning. What do you gotta get? I'm thinking to myself, what do you gotta get from the shop at 4 in the fucking morning? All right, but what the fuck? You know, it's 4 in the morning, we're awake, let's go. So we're walking through the streets, and desolated streets of Pittsburgh, and we walk down to his shop, and he's like, when we go in, Tom Savini's shop, he goes, it's in the attic. All right, cool, all right, let's go to the attic. So, Tom Savini's shop. So to get something he's got to have at 4 in the morning. So we go to the attic, he pulls down, it's one of those attics. The fucking small space, flicks the switch, lights it. It's still not dawning on me that I'm getting fucking pumped here. So, oh, the lights don't work. Here's a flashlight. So now it's 4 in the morning. I'm in Tom Savini's attic at 4 in the morning with a flashlight, looking for something that Tom's got to take home at 4 in the morning. And we're walking through the attic, and it's filled with body parts, intestines, everything. There's bodies and cadavers. It's all. He's a special effects guy. That's cool. We're walking around, and finally goes, oh, there it is. And he gets his head. And he goes, this is what I need. Okay, so we go back downstairs, and we've carried, yes. So now I'm walking through the streets of Pittsburgh at 4 in the morning, carrying a severed head with Tom Savini. And I'm still not fucking kidding. And everything hit me until like years later. I was like, oh, he was fucking with me. Okay. But I didn't care. I was like, hey, this is cool. I'm carrying a severed head for Tom Savini at 4 in the morning. How many people wouldn't want to do that if they could? You know? So en route, you know, like sitting on that 7-hour train ride back to Long Island, having just sat with a master, Tom Savini, telling me what was wrong with my movie Helltown, and I started thinking, all right, how do I reinvent the wheel of horror? What is horror, and where is it at? And horror had been, for years and years and years, played on people's fears of being chased and fears of dying. All the slasher was the same thing. He's coming after me. He's coming after me. I'm running. I'm running. I'm running. Oh my God, I'm dead. Well, I said, what's worse than being chased? I said, that's being trapped, being helpless. Okay, and what's worse than dying? Suffering.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, so I want someone who, there's no chasing, because when you're being chased, there's always a chance you're going to get away. That's the whole thing, and sometimes they do get away. But in Strangeland, you woke up and your mouth was so shut, you were bound, you were in a cage, you were on a rack. That was out of the picture. You were going nowhere. You were naked and helpless. And then he only killed, people often say a serial, like reference it as a serial killer, Captain Howdy. Only one person dies in the movie, and that's she had a heart attack. That's the girl they find in the trunk. She had a heart condition, and she died just out of just terror. But he doesn't want people to die. He wants people to suffer and live. And so, okay, here's another great story. Okay, since we're talking Strangeland. So anyway, I went and I started writing this script, and the new script, Strangeland, with this new character. And then I started discovering body modification and all that stuff. And when I sent the Strangeland script to Tom Savini, I came home one day and the lights flashing on my answering machine. Who remembers that? The answering machine. And I go, oh, okay, messages. Hit the button, and I hear, D, it's Tom. That was fucked up, man. Really fucked up. I was like, yes! Because that's the response I wanted. That was fucked up. Creepy, man. So now I go to my next person. My next reader is my wife, Suzette. And for those who don't know about Suzette, how many people are aware I have a wife named Suzette? 43 years we've been together, 43. And she did all the makeup and costumes and hair and Bone logo. She has been the firecracker, petite, hot firecracker behind the crazy monster for years. And so she's always my first reader, my first listener, and checks everything out. So I give her the Strangeland script. I said, babe, she's a horror fan. Give us a read. She goes upstairs, and a little while later, comes back down. And she goes, was walking into the living room. She's holding the script like down here. And she goes, you got something you want to tell me? And I said, no, why? And my wife is very attractive. She's actually on every hottest rock star wife's list. Usually number one. And all the Rolling Stones and the Beatles were all wondering how the fuck did Dee Snider get on that list? Well, he married a hot girl. And so she goes, but in front of my eyes, she turns into Sam fucking Kinison. She goes, ow, ow, ow! It's I'm like, what the fuck? And she just lost her shit. And I'm like, I said, it's my nightmares, not my dreams. And, no, but that was and she said, what? I said, I wrote my nightmares down. I didn't write my dreams. Those aren't my dreams. Those are my biggest fears. I said, burning and suffering and being, that scares me. Because I'm a horror guy and I've watched so much stuff that doesn't scare me anymore. I said, well, what fucking scares me? And that scared me. And once you heard that, it wasn't like I wasn't going to have some sick fantasies about like sewing her mouth shut. She reverted back into the hot petite wife that she was. Sam left the room, and she was okay, cool. All right, it's fucked up. I said, yeah, thank you. That's what I'm going for. Fucked up. And you know, in Strangeland, for those who, I'm a little pissed at Eli Roth now. These days, because he had that show, Eli Roth, that talks about horror and stuff, and he talks about torture films, and it gives him and James, what's his name? Wan, thank you, for the Saw franchise, you know, mad dope props for the torture genre. Strangeland, first film rated by the RIAA, by the Motion Picture Academy, whatever it is, for R for scenes of torture. They were horrified. They said, are you fucking kidding me? You guys have fucking watched Chainsaw Massacre. You watched Last House on the Left. But this was different. It was, for them, it was suffering, and they hadn't seen people suffering like that. And so it was the first film to ever get rated R for that. And when I used to do Fangoria Radio on Sirius XM with Debbie Rochon and Tony Timpone from Fango, when Eli was promoting Hostel and James was promoting Saw, you know, and they called into the show, the first thing was, we're not worthy, we love Strangeland, I'm like, yeah, I kind of picked that up. But they made a fortune, and I made fucking nothing on Strangeland, because Strangeland not only was ahead of its time, the company that made it literally was indicted by the federal government. Shortly after it came out, all their properties were seized. Their CFO was put in prison, and I hang out with the coolest people. And certainly not legit. And you know, and then it was caught in the courts for 7 years, and I had to fight to get back the creative rights, which I now own again. It took a long time and a lot of money. And then, you know, when you're it's like when you got a girlfriend or wife or a boyfriend or husband, it seems like there's always people who are interested in you. If only you were single, you know. And then when you're going, I'm single, and you're like, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Well, that's what it was like with Strangeland. While I was fighting and spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that I didn't have, tens of thousands actually, because I was at a very low point in my career. All these people say, hey man, you get the rights to the movie, dude, we want to make it. Everybody wanted to make the movie. And then the minute I got the creative property back, started calling people up. It's like, oh yeah, it's not a good time, blah, 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 this, that, the other thing. I moved on, so, and Strangeland has become that, Strangeland 2, that movie that has just been a frustration to me, because I've had so many false starts, and many of you have read about them or heard about them over the years, that it's just, it hurts. And I'm at that point where I feel like, again, the girl or guy reference, where like that girl you keep chasing, and she keeps blowing you off, and then I'll say, well, maybe if I ignore her, then she'll come to me. So I've been ignoring her for a while, and she's not coming to me. So, but I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful, and you guys are awesome because I do these horror cons all over the country, and people come who are fans. It's got a cult appreciation, and it's built an audience, and people love it. And I'll tell you what, when I see some of the shit that gets sequels and remakes done, I go, "You're fucking kidding me!" I can barely watch TV anymore because I'm going, seriously? We're bringing back the Leprechaun? He's the reason oh, by the way, him and Chucky, those are the two fucking people that got me to write Strangeland in the first place. Because I was like 19, what? I mean, the doldrums of horror movies had to be the early 90s. I'm thinking around 92, right around there. And I'm watching, I think it was Leprechaun, because I've already suffered through Chucky at that point. And I'm screaming, "It's a fucking dwarf! Kick it! Kick it!" I'm like some of those crazy people in the movie theater yelling at the screen. And that's what I said, oh my fucking God, there's got to be something better. I said, well, I'm going to write something better. I said, damn, I got to think of a good character. Oh, I got a good character from a Twisted Sister album called Captain Howdy, and that's how Strangeland came to be. So thank you. Thank you, Leprechaun. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Leprechaun. You inspired me to do something that's been an endless frustration. So I guess at this point I've been rambling for a while. At some point I should start asking any questions about anything. I'm happy to answer any questions, fear not. Yes, Sarah, with it, not S-R-A. S-R-A-S-A-R-A, no H. I remember everything about it, number one fan.
What inspired you to be a rock star?
What inspired me to be a rock star? Okay, that's a really good question. So, I'm old, all right? So it's 1964, and the Beatles are on TV, and I didn't see the Beatles on TV. Why? Because my father had banned television in our house, and he decided that we should get back to talking, playing board games, building puzzles, models, reading, and interacting. So while the Beatles were changing the world, I was building a fucking puzzle. but it was a furry kitten. But that was just for those who were too young to understand how momentous that event was. By the way, 70 million people watched the Beatles perform that night. 70 million. So that was on Sunday. Monday, I went to the bus stop. So what is this, 64? So I'm 9. I go to the bus stop, and there's an unusual amount of chatter going on at the bus stop. And I walked up I go, what's going on? And what's going on? And Russell Niederman, the guy I hated the most, said to me, dude, didn't say dude back then. He said, did you see Ed Sullivan last night? I said, no, we don't have a TV. He goes, you see the Beatles? I said, what are the Beatles? I said, what's that? He goes, they're a rock band. He said, everybody was screaming. And the minute I heard the words, everybody was screaming, I said, I'm going to be a Beatle. And I wasn't even sure what that was exactly. But I'm the oldest of 6, and I'm not only the oldest of 6, but I'm the first grandchild, first nephew. I was the first born in the entire family on both sides of my parents' family. So for a brief moment in time, I was Simba. I was the fucking golden child. And everybody sang the circle of life, and I flowed, and then the next child or two came along, and they put me down, take care of yourself. Everybody apparently started having kids like it was a fucking competition, and I went from being the golden boy to being sort of fending for myself. So I had this desperate need for attention, in case you haven't noticed. So when I heard people were screaming, I didn't know what it was, and I really didn't know at 9 what a rock band was, per se. But I said, I got to be a Beatle, and then I found out you can't be a Beatle, but you can be in a rock band. I said, okay, but if people are screaming, I'm doing that. And from 9, I started with other friends and guitars, and that's when we formed our first little band. But I knew from 9, I will be a rock star. That is my destiny. That is my goal. And a lot of times I got mocked mercilessly for being so confident and so, stupid about it, talking about it. Because I remember at one point I was working on a loading dock at a department store, and with a bunch of other guys my age, I was like 19, and there's some 20-year-olds, and they were all talking about retirement benefits and paid medical and stuff. And I'm like, look, you guys are planning on staying here? And they go, yeah, what are you doing? Because I'm going to be a rock star. Bad mistake. That became my nickname. And the favorite thing was to make Rockstar do awful things. So Rockstar, somebody threw up on floor 3, and I like, hey, Rockstar's cleaning vomit. Hey, Rockstar's gonna pick up the shit. Rockstar's gotta, so Rockstar. But the good part of that story, so cut to 1984, I am now a rock star. And People magazine is doing a feature article on me, and they want to follow me back to my hometown, and like, D. Snider go return song. So let me set this straight. Nobody knew I existed, okay, in my high school. I was like just an invisible person. I didn't fit in with any group. But everybody knows me now. Everybody hung out with me. Everybody partied with me. Everybody was my best friend. And no, nobody was my best friend. So when I go back to the high school, and as you can imagine, 1984, D. Snider walks in with a camera crew, hair out to here, shoes up to there, larger than life. I come in, and pandemonium breaks out at Baldwin Senior High School. And I walk in, it's like the Pied Piper, and everywhere I go, there's just like a horde of kids following me, and cameras are flashing, it's awesome. And I'm walking down the hall, going back to my choir, I sang in the choir, and there's a guy sweeping the floor, and I look, and it's Carl, one of the guys who worked on the loading dock with me, who called me Rockstar. So I'm like, Carl! Me, Rockstar! What's up? So now he's leaning on his broom, I've got the fucking camera crew and everybody there, and I go, so how's it going? So good. So I said, Rockstar. He goes, yeah, so I gotta go, man, but it's nice seeing you again. So sweet. Almost as sweet as the time that I had the crowd chant, fuck you, Elaine, to a girl who stood me up on a date. Okay, since you didn't ask, but it's a good story. So, I really wanted to go out with this girl in high school, and she agreed to go out with me, and she was way out of my league, but that should have been my first clue. And basically, she used me to take her to another party. It was like some sort of camp reunion thing, and we arrive, and we walk in the door, and she just splits, takes off, and I'm just standing there. And she never came back to talk to me. I didn't know anybody at the party. I was just like a dick. And I get back, I didn't even have a car. I was remembering this, it's true. I got a taxi. So I paid for a taxi to take us all the way to this party where she abandons me. And then, okay, this is good. So it gets better. It has a happy ending. So anyway, I was devastated. I finally left. I went home. When I went to school, she never said a word to me again. She just needed a ride to this party, and he was a dork who was stupid enough to take her. Cut to a concert, and somebody, her name was Elaine Cornfield. This is a name that just sticks in your brain. Elaine Cornfield. So I'm backstage, and someone comes and says, "Hey, is Elaine Cornfield out there? She says she used to go out with you." Elaine Cornfield said, "Dude, this is rough." I said, "Oh, good." So she was punished. I said, "I never went out with her. I'm not coming out to see her. Don't let her back here. I don't even fucking know her." I said, "Fuck that girl." Right? Get on stage, and she has pushed her way to the front center on the barricade, and she's waving to me. Waving to me. I said, "You're fucking asking for it." So I told this story to the audience. About 5,000 people. And I said, "And she's here tonight." So please join me in a rousing chorus of "Fuck you, Elaine." Fuck you. Last thing I saw was a pair of shoes and a puddle of something and a witch's hat. And that was the end of the lane cornfield. But see, so sometimes you have revenge. Revenge is sweet, everybody. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Hot or served hot or cold, it's sweet. Boy, that turned into something. Okay, anybody else have a question? Yes. You.
Well, that's actually a two-part question. The first one was, what is the rumors based around Strangeland 2? And where does your music find inspiration for horror or vice versa?
Okay, so what's the status of Strangeland 2? I thought I explained that the bitch won't talk to me. So, yeah, right now I'm kind of, I hate saying the word lost hope, but I've set it aside because I just kept working. I was obsessed with getting it done, and it wasn't happening. It's been 20 years, you know, and so I've taken a different tack besides ignoring her. I've started a new production company called Twisted Storm with a creative partner of mine, and we're developing a few new things. We've sold an animated kids show, believe it or not, to Netflix. Our idea is cradle to grave horror. So we got some cutesy monsters in an animated show for kids, and then all the way to the most brutal horror at the other end. And we got a couple of TV shows that we're working on, and a couple of films, and a couple other ideas. So we're raising money, we're developing these projects, and I'm hoping once I get the production company going, I can return to Strangeland and just make the freaking thing. I do have this new movie called My Enemy's Enemy. People say, why haven't you written a new horror film? I say, because I wanted something that would be as original and groundbreaking as Strangeland was. And 20 years later, I came up with the idea, and My Enemy's Enemy is going to just blow your heads off. And blow your fucking heads off. It's unprecedented, and I'm working with some, I can't say who, but some really significant people who are to bring this to light. And one of the things I want to do, because it is so groundbreaking, and by groundbreaking, it's horrifying. I mean, it's so horrifying, and it's based on truth that I had to put a disclaimer on the front of it, because people, when they read it initially, again, it was a moment where they would go, what's wrong with you? I'm going, fuck. I took this from fucking actual events. You know, I didn't make this shit up. You know, this really happened, some of this, and I've added a twist on it. Anyway, so I'm hoping to come back to it. Right now, it's on hiatus, but if I get things going, I'll be able to bring that back. As far as how music relates to horror, to me, heavy metal and horror just seem to always go hand in hand. You know, my friend, the guy at my table who's hustling all you guys when you come by, my favorite guy, but we were just talking about the fact that there was this death metal like festival in town, and it was a missed opportunity. Bill, if you're here, I'm sorry that they did not use that to promote this show, because you know, a room full of fucking death metal fans. There's an odd relationship, a synergy between the two. They would have been naturals to come over to this convention, you know, during the daytime. And they're all staying in this hotel, and not one of them knew about it. They said, "D, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "Fucking horror convention." You know, they're in the hotel. They're death metal fans, they're D. Snider fans, and they don't know why I'm here in the building. There's a disconnect, Bill. Disconnect. But I've always, you know, so they really just sort of play off each other. And like I said, you know, Strangeland, Captain Howdy was a character in a song on the Stay Hungry album. The Horatoria was Captain Howdy and Street Justice, and that was the story, the essence of the story for Strangeland. So to me, they just very tied together. Another question?
When I was in high school in the mid-'80s, Twisted Sister, all the hair bands were like big things for me. And when you testified in front of Congress, I was really inspired by it. And in my social studies classes, I wrote a paper about the PMRC and censorship.
Thank
it was
you.
the only paper in high school I got an A on.
You're
so
welcome.
What was it like testifying in front of Congress about that?
Testifying it was a Senate hearings, the censorship hearings. The PMRC, those who don't remember, they wanted to sticker rock records, and I got asked, along with Frank Zappa and John Denver, if I would testify and talk to the Senate. There was a Senate hearing. I immediately, when they said, "Do you want to?" I was like, "Yes." I don't know what it is, but yes, I'll do it. No, I knew what it was because we were touring, and it was all over the news. And I got arrested in Texas for profanity and disorderly conduct, and we had shows in the Bible Belt being canceled and people protesting. The religious right, and I'm not anti-religion at all, but they're a pretty interesting group of people. I remember we were down south, and a bunch of them were walking around the arena we were playing in, trying to bring down the walls of Jericho. They were chanting something in the Old Testament or whatever, and this chant actually caused the walls of Jericho to collapse and kill all the people inside. So J.J. French, my guitar player, who's always been this little intellect of the band, he slipped out the side door and engaged in conversation. He says, "So what are you," and Jewish, so he didn't really get it. "What are you trying to do?" And they said, "We're trying to kill you, Twisted Sister, and we're trying to collapse the walls of this arena and crush you all to death for your sins." Okay, there's 15,000 young people in there. What about them? The woman went dead quiet. She goes, "That's the devil in you. The devil's speaking to me right now. I'm not listening to you, devil. Satan, go away." That's collateral damage. As long as they killed Twisted Sister, the other 15,000 kids didn't matter. But I had been experiencing that, so I welcomed the opportunity. And if you've seen any footage on that, if you've seen, there was a movie called Warning Parental Advisory made on VH1 that I actually played myself in, which was the weirdest thing, because everybody else were actors, and they asked me to play me, and I'm walking onto the set wearing the clothes I actually wore in 1984. So this is like in the 90s now, and I'm walking out there, and it's the equivalent of an actual Tyrannosaurus on the set of Jurassic Park. He was there during the Mesozoic era. But if you see any of those things, I went in, I was a cocky bastard. And I look at that footage, and I just watch myself in action going, "Son, how did you walk with balls that big? And why can't I see them in those skin tight jeans?" I'm mystified at the amount of sack I had to go and do that. But I don't think I realized just what I was getting into. I certainly was prepared. I certainly did my homework, and I took it seriously. But as we drove into Washington, D.C., and just saw the maelstrom of media there, and the protests for and against, and just the pandemonium and the security, it was a circus. And it was an amazing experience. But I remember as I was walking out right after I testified, a reporter shoved the mic in my face, which they do, and they said, "D, how do you feel?" And I didn't even think. I just said, "Be dirty," and that was the first word that came out of my mouth. Because even though I was a kid who grew up during Watergate or whatever, I still had some kind of idea that, this was Washington, D.C., where great people were doing great things, better people than me, smarter people than me, and then getting up close and personal with the Al Gores and the Senator Rockefellers and all these people and going toe-to-toe with them. I said, these people aren't better than me. And they're not looking out for our best interests. They've got their own agendas, and they're not smarter than me either. And it was really heartbreaking in a way to just come face to face with that reality. And then afterwards, my mail was checked, my packages were checked, my phones were tapped, all that shit went down. They were not happy that some hairy fuck came in there and made them look like fools. So, but I win, they lose, and I'm ready to go back. So anytime, Al, I'm ready to go. Anybody else have a question? No. people are waiting for the next. Who's next? Nobody after me. Yes, Christina?
What are your kids doing these days?
What are my kids doing these days? I'm a super creative. My wife Suzette is a super creative. She would have gone on to do much more mainstream great things in fashion and what have you, except I like lassoed her, tied her up, and kept her locked in my apartment. Right now she graduated high school early, went to FIT. She graduated top of her class, Betsy Johnson, if you remember that line of clothes. They immediately tried to sign her up to work for them. But I've just kept her locked and under salary, working for me and whatever. And by salary, I mean she doesn't get paid anything. But she's super creative, and our kids have always just been encouraged to be creative and to do whatever, to do something that you're passionate about. So my oldest son, Jesse, and you've seen some of them on reality TV with me, he's an aspiring, he writes comics, he does voiceover. If anybody ever watches Food Paradise on the Travel Channel, he's the voice of that show. And he's been the voice of Kia and GameStop and Pizza Hut. And he's one of those voiceover guys. And he's also a struggling musician. He's been struggling for a long time, and it's a tough business, and he's still doing that. Shane is a writer, and he co-wrote the movie Fool's Day that with Cody, who's a director that they're doing for Warner Brothers, that's in pre-production right now. And Cheyenne, she's following in her mother's footsteps. She's an aspiring designer. She's Captain Howdy's daughter. So a little story on that. So when I was filming Strangeland, Cheyenne had been born like 6 months earlier, and so when we were in production with my buddy Dave Michelle, who produced Get It to the Greek, Turtle Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Sling Blade, Dallas Buyers Club. I mean, this guy's like a big producer now. But Cheyenne was a little bundle of pink joy, and I remember coming to the production office and carrying her around, and Steph had her all dressed up, and she was so cute, and that was that. Cut to 20 years later, Cheyenne needed an internship, and I called Dave up, and I said, hey man, Cheyenne's looking for an internship. He goes, oh, send her down, she can intern on a film I'm working on. He's like, great. He hadn't seen her in 20 years. She goes down, phone rings shortly thereafter, and I'm like, hey Dave, what's up? He's like, why didn't you tell me Captain Howdy's daughter was gonna walk in? I said, what? He goes, dude, she's got red flaming fucking hair, she's pierced to fucking shit, she's tatted to shit. Captain Howdy's, the last time I saw her, she was a pink little bundle of joy. And I was looking, I said, my wife said, oh, maybe we didn't do such a good thing letting her watch that movie. But they're all pretty cool, and hopefully they get to live their dreams too, because, they've seen the fact that dreams can come true, but they also know it's a lot of work, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But hopefully they give you some good lessons. Anybody else?
What was the inspiration behind doing Van Helsing's Curse?
Van Helsing's Curse. Anybody know aware of Van Helsing's Curse? I'm one fan. And this guy lives in Vegas. I saw TSO. Van Helsing's Curse was a horror-based, Halloween-based Trans-Siberian Orchestra, okay, on fucking steroids. Taking the inspiration of TSO, which I think is great, and then saying, okay, well, that's Christmas. What about Halloween? And working with a lot of people, TSO alumnus like Al Petrelli, who is the guitarist, and his wife Jane, and Mark Wood, the violinist, and then Joe Franco, the drummer, producer from Widowmaker. We put together this orchestrated, classical meets rock, meets original, narrated, scary story, and we took it out on the road, and for a couple of years, we financed it. It was very expensive, because it had an orchestra, and it had a rock band, it had a choir of druids, but it was really cool. You can find stuff on it on YouTube, but we couldn't keep it going, unfortunately. But I just wanted to make next level Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which I think is awesome. Next level of that shit. Anybody else? What is that? You should know. that Jamie Shasta Pinkbreed last year challenged me on his podcast to make a new metal record, true metal record. I accepted the challenge, and along with the help of people from Disturbed, Lamb of God, Killswitch Engage, Arch Enemy, All the Remains, everybody came out of the woodwork. No, yes? Okay, you're stepping on his shit right there. He was done with that question. We had no recording budget. Everybody just came in and worked together, and we put out an album. Became one of the top metal albums in the world last year. Went to number 20 on the Billboard charts. I haven't been on the Billboard charts since the 80s. And now I play live, and people want to hear the new music as well as the old music. So it's heavy, it's powerful. It's called For the Love of Metal. Anybody aware of For the Love of Metal? Yeah. Yes, some people right there. Thank you. And so check it out. You will not. It's with all these younger guns. It has old enough appeal that the older fans are loving it, but younger fans are loving it too. It's got Oh, we have at the table. Yes, thank you, Matt. Always shilling. Answer to your question. My daughter sang in a band for a while. She was a singer, and she came into me one day. She was in her teens, and she said, "Dad, I'm quitting the band." And I said, "Why?" And because they were good, they played Warped Tour, and they did some shows. And she goes, "I don't really like it." And I said, "Well, why were you doing it?" She goes, "Well, I thought you wanted me to be in a rock band because I could sing." And I said, and this is what I'm talking about, I just want my kids to be passionate. I said, "Look, I don't care if you're an accountant. As long as you want to be an accountant and you're passionate about it." I said, "Never do something because you think Daddy wants you to do it or whatever." So she doesn't sing anymore. She put that behind her. She's in fashion now. Anybody else? Yes, Sarah.
What education do you need to be a rock star?
What education do you need to be a rock star? Clearly, if you see some of the other rock stars, not much. I am positive that when they invited me into Washington, they just assumed I was a mindless idiot like some of my peers who shall remain nameless. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, you don't need any education at all.
That's the wrong answer.
That's the wrong answer.
That's the wrong answer.
No, but if you want to be a smart rock star like Dee Snider, and you want to have a career that goes beyond music, that goes to radio and TV and movies and voiceover and Broadway. I was on Broadway. If you want to do those things, then you better stay in school.
That's a good one.
You got it. Well, thank you. I wasn't expecting to do this. I know it was on the schedule, but I kind of figured it was going to be blown off. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.